Hello! We're here today with a very special edition of Album Club. We're just going to be talking about one album because today there is only one album that everyone's talking about. It is LP6 from Arctic Monkeys, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. It's a little bit of a mouthful. And we're all pretty excited, I think it's fair to say.
We're talking about it all week.
I'm hyped.
On Bloody Monkeys Week.
I'm Charlotte Gunn.
I'm Thomas Smith.
I'm Jordan Bassett.
And yeah, we're going to be looking at the album, dissecting it a little bit, talking about your reactions to it. Some of you hopefully joined our listening party on Twitter last night, so you will have heard it several times by now. And we're just getting the lowdown on all things TBHC, as it's lovingly known about amongst the fans already.
I feel like you've somehow made it more of a mouthful.
Yeah, that wasn't as catchy as I'd hoped. Jordan's so excited he did just piss all down his leg.
It wasn't all down, it was just a tiny little bit. I thought I was done, and then what's going on down there?
So yeah,
I need to go on about it.
Sitting as far away from him as possible. But yeah, so let's get into it.
Let's go.
So it's been 5 years since AM was released, the last Arctic Monkeys album. I think fair to say that was a bit of a hit.
It was a bigger.
Did quite well.
People liked it.
Liked it in America as well, didn't they?
I liked it all over, I think, Jordan. It's just a very popular album. And since then, what have the guys been up to? Alex lives in LA.
They all live in LA.
Do they? I don't know.
Two of them live in LA.
No, I think
Monkeys nerd.
Monkeys nerd.
Monkeys fan number one. Where are the rest of them hanging out?
Just in the UK.
Right.
Non-specific.
Just milling about.
I'm not their milkman. I don't know.
Alright, interrogation over.
So, two of them live in LA. Alex has...
The other two live with Tom, I think.
In his basement.
Well, they're like his housemates.
Very tidy.
Are they?
Yeah.
Tidy lads.
Lovely boys.
Okay.
But yeah, like you said, two of them live in LA.
With,
two of them.
just in case... In case you hadn't got that.
So Alex has done...
He's made a Shadow Puppets album.
Helders did the Iggy Pop.
Oh, glorious.
Post-pop depression. You're
Absolutely
on tour
wonderful.
with that all-star band. And so yeah, they kind of found themselves at this
Alex
point.
Turner also worked with Alexandra Saviour, who you may have checked out, producing her album, I think,
Yep.
helping to write on it. It's a really good record if you haven't heard that. But yeah, I think the last Shadow Puppets record was a bit of a different sound for them. They were a bit more loungy.
Yeah, they left the kind of Scott Walker kind of pastiche thing and moved on to, it was very sort of synthy, wasn't it?
It was very West Coast soul, like Isaac Hayes,
Yeah.
a bit of, like Marvin Gaye, kind of
Very louche.
very seedy.
Yeah.
CD. They were on stage at Glastonbury.
There
Alex
is.
had dropped to his knees and gyrated on the
he
floor,
did, yeah.
which I think was a perfect sort of moment to sum up that record.
And Miles Kane had a bit of a part on his saucy sax.
Oh, do you remember that? That was a good moment.
I didn't even know he could play sax. You take your eyes off the stage for 1 second, you know, look back, and there he is popping away in his little blue suit. Incredible.
So it's been a while. A lot of things have happened, and now here we are with Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, which I think definitely fair to say is a divisive album.
Yes.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
It's very much sort of confounded expectations, hasn't it?
What were the expectations? What did you guys think?
Well,
was gonna
so,
come from this record?
you know, looking back at the old ones, they always do something slightly different, but they've never kind of like deviated this far away. So the difference between Humbug and Suck It and See and AM, this kind of more of a gradual progression. This one's just like... whoosh.
Yeah, it's
They've-
funny because people thought that Humbug was a really... So this was when they went sort of out to the Nevada desert with Josh Homme, and
Yeah.
it was kind of like sort of stoner desert rock, and they all grew out their hair. And this, like that previously was the divisive Monkeys album. That was when everyone
Yeah, I was
thought
like,
it was sort of
whoa,
what
now.
different- Yeah,
That's rather palatable now.
yeah, totally, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's fair to say I wasn't expecting. You kind of were expecting AM2, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that album did so well, and it kind of reinvented them, at least in the sense that it made them like such a huge band in America. I mean,
Yeah.
they broke America with that record.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, you don't sort of come back from that. They toured so hard on that. You were saying it was like 2 years.
Yeah, it was like a two. It was huge. They did all the festivals here, and then the next one I did it all in America, and then like the next one over and all in Europe and worldwide. Like it was just like it was their biggest tour, and it felt like at the time like there was no other tours going on.
Yeah.
Like everyone was swept up, and it was their best tour. Like they were so good on that tour. They did Glastonbury, Reading and Leeds. But yeah, so they came off that tour, and it's just like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah, but when you think about kind of how different they were in the AM era from the first album, it seemed like a completely different band and completely different people, and it felt like they kind of like arrived in this way and they'd reached the band that they were going to be. So yeah, I kind of thought that it would be an AM too, you know, not like not sort of regurgitating the same record, but it would be in the same kind of mold, and that they would continue to be that band that they'd become. And that's not what this is at all.
No, and I think as well there was a bit of an expectation, certainly from me, that Alex has his side projects to do all this kind of crazy stuff, and this Monkeys is Monkeys. But there was some talk of maybe this being an Alex solo record.
Yeah.
So I think the line was he wasn't sure, and then he played it to Jamie Cook, and then he was really into it, and so they went for it. I wonder what Helders thought.
Well, Helders,
he's got a bit of a rough deal on this one.
Yeah, right, because there's not much Helders drumming on this, really, is there?
In fact, that's
I was like, all right, lads. Can I have a say, please?
He kind of found ways to diversify. He does little bits of synths, and these. He has a go on the synths.
Yeah, I've heard he's playing keyboard.
Yeah, he's gonna have a nice breather during the live shows.
Right, yeah, that's
because it's gonna, how furious all the first ones are, and he's just gonna be like.
Well, it's so weird because it always felt like the Monkees was mainly Alex Turner and Helders. Like they felt like the
cool ones, aren't they?
Yeah, the cool ones, and also because there was so much of Helders' backing vocals on AM that was so that record was so characterized by that. So to see him kind of fade into the background is kind of weird. But
maybe he's going to do a Bez and just come out on stage and some rackets.
He likes he's good at his photography, isn't he? So maybe he'll just become the official
tour
photographer.
Just be down in the pit.
I bet he's got a hobby. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So thematically, obviously, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, for those of you who don't know, it's about a hotel on the moon.
Obviously.
And a casino on the moon. So it's not really a concept album, are we saying?
This is one of the many divisive things about it. Do you think it is?
It definitely feels like one. Like the name, the fact that there's actually a hotel that Alex Turner made on the album sleeve.
Out of cardboard, did he make
Out of cardboard.
Yeah.
No, here he is.
No, I don't know.
Hard at work.
He didn't make that himself.
He did. Look
at
him.
What? No.
He did.
Is that true?
He didn't make it himself. A lackey made it. Helders probably made it. He's got fuck all else to do.
Anyway,
Artwork, Alex Turner.
So yeah, some.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, but artwork doesn't need to. All right.
It doesn't matter.
You've got the Pritt stick out today.
We should have asked him on our Enemy Big Read.
Fucking no wonder it's been 5 years. It's been making that.
It's got free Wi-Fi.
So yes, it's certainly a concept album in the sense that it deals with themes of science fiction throughout. It's a lot of mention of this fictional hotel.
Yeah, lots of mentions of the moon, the Clavius is a lyric on 405, which is a crater on the moon.
Clavius. I thought that was this bone here in the body, don't I? There's sonically, I think it all kind of flows together as one body of work, and actually there were no singles before the album came out, and so a lot of people said with our listening party or just consuming it for the first time yesterday, it was really interesting and unique to just sit down and listen to a body of work, an album, all in one go, because it's rare that you don't get a single or any hint of what it's going to be like, and so it was quite a unique experience, people found it to be, and it does feel more like an art project, I'd say.
Yeah, it's so thematically similar, and there's little bits little piano tinkles that will carry through songs, and then they fade into each other. Like the first two, 3 songs will fade into each other really nicely. But yeah, it's
very spindly sounding, isn't it?
Spindly,
I would say it's quite spindly, because obviously he wrote it all mainly on the piano, and then the rest of the band came and sort of added their bits in. So yeah, I think, and it sort of feels quite sort of skeletal at times. It's like, sort of like a stripped down Monkey sound.
Yeah, and there's like kind of bits of silence in there, which is kind of like uncomfortable. It's like you kind of have to live in these silences. Like, is there supposed to be something there?
There's silence, and then there's just incessant lyrics from Alex.
It's an album of extremes.
Yeah, there's no sort of chorus break. There's no bridge.
There's no.
That's true. Yeah.
There's no bangers.
It's just
the lines that he's using, like lyrically, are sort of like they kind of tumble. Or it almost sounds like a stream of consciousness at times. It's sort of, they tumble into each other, and he crams a lot of syllables into each line.
So many syllables. So yeah, back to the themes. The moon, obviously. What else is he touching on here?
Well, I think it's more. I don't think it's a concept album because, like, okay, so there are recurring themes in it, but I don't. It's not like it's a science. He talks about how it's a lot to do with science fiction. And that kind of stuff, but it's not like he's created like a narrative about it. It's actually
in some parts he has, I'd say. 4 out of 5, which is a lot of people saying the best thing. I think that is specifically it's about a taqueria on the moon.
Okay, yeah, but it's not like he's not created like an entire world and filled it with characters or anything like that. It's actually really personal. I think and he's talking a lot about. His own feelings and the nature of fame and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's kind of he's created something that's very kind of like striking, and he's created this world around himself. But I think ultimately he's kind of talking about himself, just the same way he did on the first record.
It almost as like a distraction. It's like, look at this thing over there, look at the moon. Ooh.
Yeah.
But really, it's like maybe it's his most personal one. The one that's like he uses all these science fiction terms and all these technological advances like virtual reality masks and all that kind of stuff. But really, it's just him kind of unlocking this new level. With just a totally different vocabulary that we've seen from him before.
Yeah, that's
well,
true.
there were a couple of things in our interview, which is online today, which you can read with Alex, which was done before their Hollywood Forever Cemetery show last week. And yeah, he said it was sort of, in a way, using this moonscape to deal with things that he didn't feel comfortable talking about himself, or as a bit of a cloak to address issues that were in the real world but kind of put in this moon setting, so it sort of made them easier to explore. He also talked a little bit about having some sort of writer's block in approaching this, and I think maybe taking it out of the real world helped him kind of explore these themes in a way that he, for whatever reason, didn't feel able to do. Imagine, part of it, the pressure of touring for 2 years and releasing such a huge record and wondering what am I going to do now and next, and having these other projects kind of leaves you in a bit of a place. I'm saying like I know, I've never written an album. So.
It's such a stark difference from the
Massive
lyrics.
tour we did though.
The lyrics on AM and Tranquility Base, just like AM feels so personal. It has all those lines about I want to be your coffee pot. Do I want to know? They're all, why do you always call me when you're high? They're all very personal kind of songs about moments. Whereas this one is kind of, it feels very distracted, or distracting the listener almost in a way.
Also, he said a friend advised him not to write love songs for a bit. Not to write about love for a bit.
Yeah, I would say there's probably a lot of love songs on there, like in terms of...
That's true.
The last line on Ultra Cheese, what is it? I haven't written it down. It's something
We've got lyrics.
deeply sad
romantic.
and romantic, and
I've done some things that I shouldn't have done, but I haven't stopped loving you once.
then just cuts to silence.
Wow, yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good, and you're kind of like, what?
What did he say?
What? What's next? Nothing. It's the end. So songs. Individual songs that stood out. It starts off with Star Treatment and that killer line, which has been reported all over the place. I always wanted to be one of the Strokes.
Now look at the mess you've made.
Now look at the mess you've
That's a
made.
great opening line for a record, isn't it?
What do you think of that track?
Yeah, I really, really like it. That's the one that's very like, I mean, it's all quite sort of like tinkly, but I think that's sort of like, it's almost catchy, that one. Almost.
Yeah,
well, there's that kind of
that's
chorus, like, who are you going to call the martini, please? And it just kind of like cuts out a little bit. It's like, that's it?
There's actually 3 amazing lines in that track, which I think the fans are going to be bellowing. There's the Just Wanted to Be One of the Strokes. What do you mean you haven't seen Blade Runner? I went to see
He's never watched Blade Runner.
No, and this was a kind of thing of being in bars and people going, "What? You haven't seen Blade Runner?" over and over again. He was just sort of so bored of it. I was like, oh. But also that maybe I was a little too wild in the 70s. It's just kind of packed with all these super, super quotable...
Very Turnerisms, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like you kind of... They don't make sense right away, but you almost know what they mean, like deep down inside.
Yeah.
It's like, I get you, man.
Well, that's like the essence of like a great lyric, I think. Something that sort of means everything and nothing at once, and you can like project whatever your thing is onto it. You know, it kind of leaves enough space for you to project yourself onto the lines.
Yeah, so I think it's a good one. In some ways, I think that kind of really hits the listener around the face. It's a bit of a... Just the opening piano on that is, I think, a little bit less palatable than some of the other tracks.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't ease you into this new sound. It's kind of a bit like, fuck you, this is me.
This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing. Get on board. But then it moves on to American sports.
There's 1 point perspective just in the middle.
Yeah.
Which is...
Talk to me about that one.
Well, that's kind of a very accessible and poppy one. It kind of starts with that like Hard Knock Life, like dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
But that one's like, it's got an amazing guitar solo in the middle, but it's got like all these silly lines about swimming with the economists, doing that kind of stuff. Like very Turnerism. But it's probably the one that's quite accessible for people that aren't really getting it right away.
Yeah.
So it's quite a like. It's a nice palate cleanser after starting.
He talks about that song in our feature because he was talking about how when he was writing this album, like mainly on the piano, he was kind of transported back to when he was a kid and his dad would like teach him how to play piano when he was like sort of 8 or 9 years old. And he said there's this bit in 1 point perspective, the sort of jazzy bit of that when it comes around, it feels like something he would play. That's the thing I've been playing whenever I've sat on a piano stool since I was a kid, but I never thought it would find its way into my compositions as much as it has on this record. So these are the elements where it's kind of like super personal.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, super personal and a bit like that could be someone who just does not know what to do next and is sort of like going back to these kind of little ideas he's had that have been kicking around for, and it's like, okay.
It's comforting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of going back to childhood.
Yeah. It's kind of unleashed him, that piano, just like...
Oh, it's definitely unleashed him.
It's kind of like taking him back to like what is his like core musicianship, just like, I'm just going to do what I did.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I've done all this kind of stuff, I can use this somehow. But I love that song. I think it's one of my favourite songs. It's my second favourite song. I won't tell you which is my favourite yet.
Okay. And so then we move on to American sports, which I am a fan of. This is one of the couple of really, like, you could sort of equate them to being a chorus. I never thought that.
I'd meet so many
rollers. I love that line. That one. This song has been the one that's been in my head since we've had it on in the office. Thoughts on American sports, anyone? Do you remember which one that is?
No, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. They do. I mean, it's that kind of album.
Yeah, they do.
There are bits that get lodged in your brain, but you know, a lot of the album, they just kind of like flow into each other. It
does.
So it's sometimes hard to pick it apart.
Yeah, and then we go on to Tranquility Base Hotel Casino, which is the big Bowie number.
I love that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Very hunky dory. It's kind of like halfway hunky dory, halfway like Lazarus, like his last album. Like, ooh, spooky Bowie's here now.
So, which other tracks or moments on the album stood out to you?
I think 4 out of 5 is obviously the big one. That's
4
probably
stars out of 5.
That's going to be the one that's on the radio. That's probably the one that's going to go down the best at the live show.
Yeah.
It's very
loungy, isn't it?
Loungy, like Eagles, like Hotel California, like come and stay a while when you come in. I think that one is the one that will go down best.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how well many of these are going to go down live.
Yeah. At first listen, I definitely wasn't sure.
I hate it.
Yeah, I wasn't mad, but you know, we've kind of lived with it for a bit now, and my perspective on it has really changed, and even to the extent that I'm singing along to it, and you can kind of imagine yourself in a crowd listening to the tracks and having a ruddy nice time.
I'm annoyed at how right you got proved, Tom, when we first listened to it. I was like, what the hell is this? This is awful. And you didn't like it either at first, did you? And then you said it's going to be a grower. Like play it 3 times.
Yeah.
And like the melodies will start to emerge and the great lyrics will start to emerge. And that's exactly what happened.
And that's the thing, like, it's, you know, I said in the review, it's like stargazing, kind of just look up, and it is overwhelming, like completely overwhelming. Just like all of these new sounds and, you know, these weird songs and these weird lyrics. It's like, where do I start like unpicking it?
Yeah.
But as time goes on, like, you know, we got the album, and then I think like 2 days later I was like, oh, hang on, now we're getting going. And then like I was trying to rope everyone into it, and then by this morning you'd message me like, I bloody love it.
I texted Sarah, I said, I'm 2 tracks in, it's amazing, isn't it? 24 hours before
yesterday you were like,
slated.
It was, yeah. It was. My favourite bit is on Backphone when he says, I sell the fact that I can't be bought.
Yeah, that is a good line. That's definitely a good line,
isn't it?
I wonder what's going to happen after this. Well, they've got to figure out how they are going to do it live. I think it will integrate. You can kind of imagine it sort of integrating.
So on Fallon, they did last night, they had about 8 people with them. And like he's on the keys, and they've got like 2 guitarists, keys, drummers, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be, I think it could be amazing. I would actually like to hear this played live.
In its entirety.
In its entirety.
So when they come around to these tours at the O2 or whatever, just like play 40 minutes of this new album, they were just like...
You almost don't want to hear it at the O2, do you? You want to hear it in like sort of like a jazz club.
Yeah, Ronnie Scott. Oh, that would be lovely.
That would be so good.
That would be so nice.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's an idea for you.
I think the Ultra Cheese is one of my favourite ones as well, just because it kind of makes no sense whatsoever. Like, what is the Ultra Cheese?
Yeah.
And it's just so silly. It sounds like Que Sera Sera.
It does.
Is that him kind of taking the piss out of himself, do you think? For being like smooth and...
Yeah, I think so.
Schmaltzy.
I think it's all very, almost like self-pitying in a way. Like you said, it kind of feeds into this new role that he's got.
Right.
Like you said how he's got several different roles. And
absolutely. So like people go on about like, oh, I preferred it when he was singing about chip shops and in 2005, prefer sort of the first album, and talk about the kind of the Alex Turner that we had narrating kind of slice of life vignettes on whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not, like as if that's the real him. But I don't think it ever was. I think that if you look at all the albums in his whole career, he's played a new sort of character on each album. So on that album, he was this kind of like northern scally that was singing about chip shops and cab rides. And then he kind of carried that on a little bit onto Favourite Worst Nightmare, which, while I love that album, does kind of make it their kind of like least interesting album. And then, as we said before, on Humbug, he became this kind of like stoned out kind of desert rock guy. And then on Suck It and See, he became this like Lou Reed-esque New York sort of singer-songwriter. AM, he becomes this kind of like Elvis impersonator, Teddy Boy. Even on Last Shadow Puppets, he becomes this like spaced out kind of party dude. And now we have him as a kind of skeezy sort of bar poet, you know, kind of like draped over the bar, doodling poetic lines on the bar. And it's really interesting because if you look at their Glastonbury performance from 2013 when they were doing AM, he's talking in this kind of like mid-Atlantic drawl, and people like slated him for picking up this American accent. But he doesn't do that anymore. I was watching his Annie Mac interview, and he sounds normal again. And it's like he's like a method actor. I think he sort of dropped that character, and now he's moved on to the next character, and that's why he's got a completely different look. He's wearing these kind of like beige sort of linen suits now, and have the very controversial beard.
That's the goatee here. It's not great.
Let's not get personal.
Do you think kind of those roles is something he does intentionally? Or do you think that he just kind of, his progression is very well documented? So it's just kind of like...
I don't know that he sort of sits down and thinks, right, like, who am I going to be this time? I don't think so. And I think he's probably just more instinctive. He's obviously, like, incredibly creative. I think he's a genius.
Yeah.
And it probably just comes very naturally. You know, he probably just gets, like a method actor, kind of, like, locked into a zone. And that's why when you see him doing interviews around the AM area, he seems like a completely different person than he was before. And like in interview, when you watch him in interviews, he clearly finds it very hard to talk about like himself and his own music, and that, like, I mean, part of that's probably to do with contrariness, but I also think it's probably because he doesn't really know. He just like does it. You know, it just comes like so naturally. He probably just like channels this stuff.
Yeah, and he talked a lot about this film 8½, which inspired a lot of this record, and it's about. I haven't seen it, so
I saw it
might be
about a million years ago when I was a pretentious film student. I don't know about it, but it's like an Italian. It's Federico Fellini. It's like an Italian art house film, and it's about a writer who has writer's block, and is working on a science fiction film, and kind of goes into these realms of these flights of fantasy, and it's very fragmented, and some of it's very grounded in the real world. And it's about this person's life, and then it goes into these sort of crazy flights of fantasy, not unlike Tranquility Base Hotel Casino.
It's sort of like he's just put himself in the film.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, in that sense, I think there's something in that theory, Jordan. Whether it's as conscious as you know, I don't think it probably is, but yeah, I think that's quite a good little theory you've got there.
We've cracked it.
We've cracked the code.
Well, cheers, guys.
But like, okay, so I haven't actually asked you if you like it.
I fucking love it. I really do. I think at the moment it's my favourite Monkeys album.
Oh.
I hated it 12 hours ago.
Come on.
At the moment it is, but that's only because I suppose I've exhausted all the rest of them.
Yeah, I really like it. Like, I wasn't into it at first, and I've really come round. And the further they get away from their debut albums, the more I like them. Like, people will say, we want a Bowie, we want a new rock star. It's like, well, we've got one, this is it. Like, embrace it. Embrace this wildly creative person. And the further they get and progress, the whole band and Turner just get more intriguing, better musicians, more interested.
Yeah,
well, also, we've grown up with him. And, you know, as much as I loved the first record when I was, you know, necking pints in the Union or whatever, like, it's sort of you're feeling his growth. A bit like Harry Potter.
This is the Deathly Hallows of Harry Potter.
Let's explore your Harry Potter. Which let's just unpick that.
Only in the sense that you this is totally wrong.
Who's Voldemort? Let's not answer that.
Oh, we were doing so well.
I'm Dobby the house elf.
You're so Dobby.
You're fucking Dobby.
You're pissed down your leg.
You're fucking Dobby. I'm angry, mate.
Right. So, what is your favourite track?
I don't know, probably Backbone, just because it's got
you like that
lyric on it. Yeah.
The Ultra Cheese.
I'm going with American Sports.
Okay.
What a mix. What a mix. A record for a diverse listen.
Also, I mean, 4 out of 5 is great. It is, you know, that is definitely up there because it is the catchiest one, but I don't want to be so obvious.
Yeah, it's a bit basic,
that's the obvious one.
Favourite lyric? You said it. You've done yours.
I got mine here. It's from the Ultra Cheese, obviously. I've still got pictures of friends on the wall. I might look as if I'm deep in thought, but the truth is I'm probably not, if I ever was.
Ooh.
What does it mean?
Ooh.
It's very wistful. I like the wistful side of the term.
I can't really imagine him having pictures of friends on his wall. Blue tag. Just Miles. Miles by his mirror in the bathroom.
But his fridge is covered in fridge magnets. Pictures of his mates.
I really like She Looks Like Fun.
She looks like fun.
Because I want people to sing it to me.
Is that the one with the?
She looks like
That's like you've got a straw in something tropical.
Yeah,
that's
that
such
like
a good line.
smile like you've got a straw in something tropical.
Who is it on the chorus of that goes? It's like some silly, like really silly, like gruff voice that goes. She looks like fun.
She looks
What
like
is
fun.
that?
I don't know. It sounds
it's
like
funny.
Turner, and it sounds like Helder's.
It sounds
That's
like
what Helders is doing.
I can imagine them all sat there and just going, "She looks like fun."
they sound like the Monsters. Sort of that one. It sounds like a really sort of like silly novelty track.
I also like in. It's also in. She looks like fun. I think when they say there's nobody on the streets because they moved it all online as of March. What else went online in March, guys?
These guys.
These guys went online.
We're not real anymore. We just
We
just
need it.
exist on the internet. Pick that up.
Very rare.
It's a collectible now.
Get that on eBay.
So we haven't talked really about what people are saying online about it. Fan zone.
Fans
Right, who wants to
on.
go first? I've got a good one. but-
Read me some tweets,
Okay.
Tom.
I've only got one.
So are these tweets this is from our listening party.
Some
A
of them
mixture,
were
just
extra
general
ones
what people
that-
are saying about it. Some from the listening party that we ran last night.
Someone on Twitter said, "Don't know what this Arctic Monkeys album is, but it's absolute pish. Fuck off, Alex Turner, you cowboy boot bearded freak."
I've been trolling through Instagram posts. You find because it's sort of less obvious the comments people leave on Instagram because they're not sort of they get a bit lost, don't they? But there's some absolute gold in there. We put, like a few days ago when we were excited about the album, we put up a picture of Alex and said like 3 days to go or something. And someone at Amanda.Megan had obviously must have heard it somehow. I don't want to speculate on how. Said it's like weird haunted house music.
So accurate.
It's like the best piece of music journalism I've read this year, I think. It's so
It's
fucking
true.
well done, Amanda.
It's completely true.
It's so good that. And then today, very early this morning, we put up the picture of the album cover and said it's out. And at Joshim Carther says, "Dark fruit wankers on here. Disappointed Alex Turner isn't singing about taxi ranks and kebabs." Dark fruit wankers.
Explain dark fruit
So I think the
wankers.
assumption of Dark Fruit, Twitter and Instagram is the lads who are probably into the big choruses, drinking dark fruits, obviously, park life, bucket hats, flares. That's the assumption. That's
Right.
So it's very much like the laddier side of the
Right, yeah.
Arctic Monkeys fan
But he's
base.
kind of on, Joshua McArthur's kind of defending Turner here.
Yeah,
Whereas we just drink 19 Crimes wine,
it's lovely.
of course. So does Alex, I assume. Who knows? Maybe.
Cicera says, "So awful." 666.Aaron says, "Pile of wank."
Oh, didn't mince his
Well, I
words.
think that feeds into this idea that it's like, oh, it's really pretentious and that like they've left their roots behind. But I think the main thing of this album is that it's funny and silly, and it knows it's funny and silly.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's kind of like earnest and a bit pretentious as well, because it's inspired by this, art house Italian film. But it can be all of those things at the same time.
Yeah, because Alex Turner is all of those things.
Yeah, totally.
And he's an incredible lyricist, and actually more so than on certainly the last couple of albums. I think he really, the lyrics on this record are phenomenal.
Yeah.
His best in years.
There was some
definitely.
positive stuff on the Insta as well.
Oh, tell us.
Nathan Jones 65 says it's a piece of fucking brilliance. Pavla Yu says, "I love it so much. It feels like they're mine again."
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had a couple from people. So resoundingly, the Twitter party, listening party, everyone was very positive. That was kind of involved in tweeting us during it. But I expect a lot of those are diehard fans who were always going to love it. But still, I think I'm seeing a lot of positivity from the fans.
It was nice in our social media bubble.
It was. It
Obviously in the
was.
bubble.
And then hashtag monkeys party.
The lucky thing about it we've lived with it for about 2 weeks because we're
Yeah.
very privileged to get albums early. But a lot of people would have heard it for the first time last night and just be like, "What the
Whoa.
fuck is this? No single, they haven't heard anything." Might see some grainy clips online. So it's not surprising that there's a big anti kind of reaction to it.
Yeah.
And maybe some of those people will come around, some of them won't. but-
Yeah, I think a lot of them will actually. I had Emma Rochelle Caird said, it's good to fall asleep to. In saying that, I haven't listened to the whole album because I fell asleep listening to it.
I mean, that's
It's kind of the same joke
Emma,
twice.
Emma,
Sending it back.
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Give it another go, Emma. Jordan Walker on Twitter said, Arctic Monkeys 2006, I bet you look good on the dance floor. Arctic Monkeys 2018, please leave the dance floor in an orderly fashion. Michael Tuck said, Arctic Monkeys aren't indie little teenagers anymore. Deal with it.
Oh. What I think is nice about this is you were saying that on the #Monkeys party last night, people were like very positive. And like you were saying, Tom, like if it's the first time you've heard this album, then it must be like a bit of a head fuck, just like it was for us when we first listened to it. But it's really cool that people like get on board with it and like and take it as it is and are open-minded about it. And it just like shows you like how much love for that band there is and how much love there is for Alex Turner. You know, and I think that's sort of like a testament to their achievement over the course of this many albums and this kind of career, where people are like, okay, well that's a bit fucking mad, but like I trust you, and they sort of go with it, you know.
Totally. But this is, like you said, there's a lot of people getting on board with the album. There's a lot of stuff that people will go and listen to now. It's kind of opened some doors. So I wrote a blog yesterday about the things you should read, the films you should watch, like 8.5, and the album you should listen to. And so one of them I recommended was Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, which is, if you listen to it, there's very similar kind of themes and recording styles. Yeah, and he mentioned this as well. He said that they were chasing the live ensemble sound of Pet Sounds when they were recording this. There's all kind of like scattered drum bits and like big bombast and piano kind of, and harmonies all kind of like dipping in and out of songs.
Good to liken yourself to an album that's pretty well renowned
Maybe
as
the
one of the
best
best
pop albums of all
one
time.
of the best albums ever.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
And another one I suggested was that Pulp album, This Is Hardcore, which is very similar, maybe more context-wise. Like, so they did Different Class in '95. 3 years later, they come back.
Very divisive, yeah.
Right,
Jarvis he's at a piano. He's very sad, or he's very, very dirty.
That is true. It is a similar album because it's similarly, it's kind of earnest and a little bit sort of self-pitying and a little bit alienated by fame, but also like there's a song on that album that opens like I am not Jesus, although we have the same initials, and so it's like taking a piss out of himself as well.
Yeah, there's lots to kind of go from there. Like I've gone back and listened to Cameron Avery, who is on this album and performs live with them.
Yeah.
He's in Tame Impala as the bassist, but he's a solo musician as well. And his album's kind of, you can see why they're friends and why he's on this one. So it's kind of like, I'm very grateful it's unlocked a lot of new directions and places to go, even in my listening, and I hope it does for everyone else.
Also, I think it fits into the landscape of pop music right now quite well. We've talked a lot about this sort of new wave of what we're lovingly referring to as schmaltzcore.
So these are like sort of soppy singer-songwriters, kind of like a bit loungy. So people like Matt Maltese, like very croonerish. People like Rex Orange County.
Tom Misch.
Yeah.
But is this the ultimate schmaltzcore record?
I think actually maybe it is. You said
Quite
this this morning and
possibly.
it kind of unlocked the whole thing.
Can you imagine the amount of sort of new bands that are thinking, God, let's do our own Tranquility Base Hotel Casino. It's going to be.
Let's
I
get
think it's
a
going to
velvet blazer.
It's going to be
and
as
get
influential
cracking.
as whatever people say I am was, where everyone sounded like bands like Little Man Tate, for example.
Yeah.
Who kind of ripped off their sound
Please let's put them back in the box.
But the amount of bands that album influenced, I feel like this is going to have a similar effect. So like in 10 years' time, we're going to be talking about the next big thing, and everyone will be like, oh, that album, that was one that really unlocked my schmaltzy side.
So the only thing really left to ask is, some people are hypothesising whether this will be the last Monkeys album. Do you think they've got more to do together as a band? I mean, this is such a new direction. It feels like they could go somewhere completely different again, and it all be part of the same world.
And you can see where that theory's emerged online from, because like you were saying earlier, like Alex Turner's been so productive and prolific outside the band, and this is pretty much a solo album. But I don't know. I think like you were saying, about how influential this record could be, and how they sound kind of like invigorated on it as well.
Exactly,
it could have been. It could unlock a whole new thing.
I think they're gonna move tour this record and feel really like, let's just do something mad again. I think it's really unlocked, and I think unlocked their kind of listenership as well to be ready for something
that's
kind of different as well. So I don't think it's the end at all. If anything, I think it's kind of like a new age.
Oh, the beginning.
The beginning. The beginning.
That great new band.
The middle. It's probably the middle. So
2/3.
yeah. Go to NME.com now to read a little bit more about what Alex said in his own words about this record. A great interview with Kevin E.D. Perry, one of our writers. That's top of the homepage right now. Also, read the review, which we gave
4 stars.
4 stars out of 5.
Yeah, which is higher than some of the other reviews, I'd say, but very well deserved. And
I read when I first read your review, having only listened to it a couple of times and then gone away on holiday, I thought, he's wrong. He's dead wrong. He's so wrong.
You were sipping an Aperol Spritz in Italy, going,
I was on holiday in Italy, just going, but you were right, Tom.
You were right,
the
Tom.
crawl back.
It's
the crawl back.
So, read the review. We've got vintage Monkeys interviews from our wealth of enemies up online right now for you to read. We want to hear what you think about it, so comment under this video, tweet us using Monkeys Party, or just send us an email if you like, if you've got more than a tweet's worth of stuff to say. But yeah, we want to hear what you think about it. This is a big day for us, for you.
It's a big day for music, guys.
It's a big day for music. So so let's keep chatting about it, and let us know what you think once you've had your 3rd or 4th listen. I think that's all.
That's all.
Happy Monkeys Day, everyone.
Happy Monkeys Day.
Goodbye.